There's a new fold in town, at least some towns, talking about the new Tecno Phantom V. I got a couple of minutes to spend some time with it while I was at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona over the last week. They just announced it a few days ago, and there's a lot of promising stuff here. The most important promising factor is that it's $1099, which puts it very significantly cheaper than the Fold 4 at $17.99 MSRP. One reality check you'll have to go with here is more than likely you're probably going to have to pay $10.99 for this, as opposed to if you get a Fold 4, if you trade in something significant. There's a lot better infrastructure for that with Samsung, and also the biggest takeaways that I get here are also long-term support, the software, and the software on the Samsungs has gotten pretty darn good. I know I've been using a Fold 4 pretty much daily since it's come out, but not trying to snub this, just trying to place some context on it. I mean, you get more from, I think, the support side with what you pay for with Samsung. But yeah, it's a nice looking phone. It actually has a little bit bigger screen on the inside when you open it up, as opposed to the Fold 4. And we're talking very, very infinitesimal differences here, like 7.85 inches as opposed to the 7.6 inches on the Samsung. But it looks neat. The fold on it, the folding crease that we have is very prominent in pretty much every single foldable phone, and more companies keep talking about, especially Oppo, about how you basically can't see it. Well, you basically can't see it when you take it out of the box and fold it the first 2 times, but after you open it up a couple times, yes, you can see it. But it is more diminished, especially with what we get from Samsung. Samsung, I really don't think, has taken a lot of effort to make the crease very much less noticeable. We'll see what happens once the Fold 5 gets here, but here's the other thing. We're on the Fold 4. The Fold 5 will be here this fall. This is the first iteration for Tecno. And you probably don't know who Tecno is. And it's not Tecmo like Super Bowl. It's Tecno. This is a Phantom V. And it's got a lot of good things going for it. It's got the LDDR-X5. It's got UFS 3.1 storage, which is nice and fast. 256 baseline storage. It comes in black and white. 50 megapixel camera. It's got a telephoto ultra wide. And it has 2 peephole cameras. One on the front cover and one on the inside that folds up. Oh, I don't know why I keep saying folds up. There's one on the inside. So it has all the bells and whistles that you pretty much could ask for in a modern folding phone. And it looks pretty neat. This back on it is kind of like this composite material that almost kind of resembles textured leather if it were plastic. And I've seen this in other phones before. It's been done before with like several different Poco phones and some phones of yesteryear to kind of emulate like a premium texture. Maybe there's some premium texture there. I didn't really like it a whole lot. And the other concern you're going to have here, of course, aftermarket accessories. Those are probably going to be a lot fewer and far between than what you get with Samsung because there's just tons of those floating around. But I'm energized by this. It's nice to see some competition come in. And of course, I don't even think it's available in the US market. You'll probably have to have it imported. I don't have all the details on that. I was not able to sit in the press briefing. I don't know if they even talked about that. But based off of my hands-on experience, it was neat. I was really surprised by it. This came out of left field. I really did not expect to see something like this come into play. So as a fold guy, as someone who likes the foldables, as somebody who likes the flippables, it's nice to see somebody else enter the chat. It's nice to have a Ready Player 2 show up, and if nothing else, even as long as it makes enough that they can continue to make more, then I consider it a success. And I think this services a lot of different markets where $17.99 and more. And if you look at other markets, yeah, it's not exactly $17.99 for the Fold 4. It hasn't been, at least since whenever it launched. Sometimes these Samsung phones are very, very expensive, especially in like Australia and some other countries. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that this will be successful. I'm hopeful that people will like it. And I hope it does well. It has their own take on Android 13. They call their operating system High OS. So just like we get One UI, that's Samsung's flavor. This is their flavor. I didn't really get a whole lot of time to spend with it. They did say that they've got a lot of like top apps optimized for it already. So that's encouraging. And my thought process with this is it will get better with time. It's something where when you get it, probably 3 or 4 months later, after some optimization, some tweaks, some different updates, it's probably going to be a better phone. And it even has a 5,000 milliamp battery with 45 watt charging, which is pretty impressive. I mean, it's faster than you get with the Fold 4 anyway, and I think that that's encouraging. Like, it's not as fast as some of the ones you get with like Honor, the 67 watt charging or higher stuff, but I think for a starting point, and it's even got Gorilla Glass Victus on the front, which was really impressive too. I didn't expect at this price point to see that, And on the inside, I'm sure the display, they probably bought it from Samsung. It's probably the same baseline material that they use, but what you're probably missing out on is the ultra thin glass, because that's a Samsung, maybe a proprietary thing. So that might be why the crease is a little bit softer and it's not quite as noticeable at face value. But who knows? But it's rated at 200,000 times being open and closed, which is competitive. I mean, it's what Samsung's offered before anyway. So I liked what I saw, and it's encouraging, especially the $1099 price point. The biggest thing is, I think when it comes to this technology, is a lot of price point issues, because, well, let's face it, $1799 is really expensive. I mean, how many people want to spend $1,000 on a phone, much less $1799, especially when you call into question things like durability? It's a first generation product. This is very much fringe enthusiasts at a different price point, and in certain markets, I think it can be successful, and Tecno's been doing some decent things here over the last year or two. So I'm encouraged by that. I think it's neat. Glad I got to spend a couple minutes with it, and this is just some of the cool stuff that, and one of the reasons I went to Mobile World Congress. So I could go look at all these cool things. I got to see like the Oppo Find N2, got to see the Tecno Phantom V, got to see the Magic VS 2, or VS, I think it's just called the VS. Anyway, so many different things. But also, it's powered by a MediaTek chip, the Dimensity 9000 Plus, and that's the same chip that's in the Oppo Find N2 Flip, and that's also encouraging because I like what MediaTek's doing, I like what they're doing with the Dimensity chips, but that also means probably going to have a little bit of latency in the optimization here. Like if you put a Qualcomm and a MediaTek in the same product, not always do you get the exact same result, even though the horsepower and a lot of the same features are there. So I'm expecting to see over the next year a big leap in the optimization as more and more companies get their hands on these flagship MediaTek chips. And that also helps lower the price of entry, because MediaTek does not charge as much money for their products as Qualcomm Snapdragon, having to go through TMSC, all that stuff that they do. It's fantastic. Qualcomm makes amazing things. MediaTek is making some really good things too. So I think this is a good match. I think looking at the MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus, big screen, foldable display, triple camera setup on the back, 256 storage, $1099. And my hope is that if they can do this at $1099, we all know Samsung can do it for less. So we'll see what Samsung does in the year 2023. I'm curious to see if we get many changes when it comes to the Fold 5 this fall. But for right now, in the here and now, yes, encouraged by this, really cool. Glad to see Tecno did this. Hopefully I can get my hands on a review unit at some point. I did talk to their PR people, so it's encouraging, and I'll see what I can do. I'm going to do my best to try and get one of these, get my hands on it so I can make some videos for the channel to show off another alternative, because we like cool things, and foldable technology is cool things. So that's all I've got in this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hope you like seeing some of this cool stuff that they showed off at MWC. I know I don't have a whole lot of footage, but at least I was able to take it and snap enough there to show off some of it while I was there, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed the videos, please hit the like, subscribe button, little notification bell, all that jazz. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.